Hey everybody, this is Herschel Furlong from High School Top 200. I am doing the pre-season rankings for schools, and we are at number 2. So following Hastings Boys, who are ranked number 1, I have St. Kentigern College as my number 2 pre-season team. Now this is all dependent on, I think, 2 guys who I am unsure of if they are actually going to be playing this year, because they are heavy in the Warriors camp and in under 20s. But I mean, with under 20s not really sort of functioning as the under 20s used to be functioning, I'm thinking that they might still be playing first 15 this year. So for Etienne and Nanai and also Dakota Taimani, if those two actually play, then I see these guys as a number 2 team. If they don't, I see them more as maybe a 12 to 15 ranked team. Obviously, these two are really, really top class kind of players, and Etienne is considered to be the number 1 player in the country. So to take two guys out of that team, it really does change the dynamic of the team, and also it takes away a lot of attack and a lot of security at the back. And so for me, when I think about it, I think about what Etienne brings to the team. It's going to be his 3rd year at fullback. It's going to be it's going to be a few years of learning under a lot of guys who have been back there at fullback, and so his experience really is going to be missed if he's not there. His attacking game is not going to be there. His even initial threat is not going to be there. So like a lot of guys that, like if I was kicking, I would not kick to him. I would always make sure it goes out. I would rather even just kick it dead than let him return it back, because sometimes you can't chance the fact that he's going to return it, because he finds the smallest gaps and then he just makes it bigger. For some reason, he makes it look like it's bigger than it really is, because he breaks a lot of lines and breaks a lot of gaps, and his footwork is so sharp that you just don't know. You're just not sure of how to really shut him down. I've seen a lot of really good defenders even miss him, and to get good defenders off your back just with simple gliding footwork, like it's just hard. I mean, Etienne hasn't really shown a kicking game, but he hasn't really been put in situations where he's had to really show it. So it'll be good to see if he has one, because I mean it just adds to his arsenal of attack. And if he could kick just for like field position and just find those gaps in the back 3 and find the touchline and things like that, man, I give it up to him. That's like, he's like the complete talent that you want. Dakota, on the other hand, is going to be, I mean, I think Dakota last year had a really down year from his year 11 year. He had to step into a second 5 role, which I don't think he was that comfortable with. But like, you had to make room for Revis, and so like, he's going to be important, because I think that he's going to be the connection between Revis, himself, and Etienne. So like, I think those 3 in the back line are going to make sure that everything is supposed to run well. If he is not there, it's going to be too much of a gap for them to fill in, and then Revis will basically have to do it by himself. Ryan Jones is going to be there, which is cool, but at the same time, he doesn't offer that same effect that Dakota and Etienne do. And so Revis, as an up-and-coming player, and this is going to be his big year, I think, he's going to need those 2 there to make sure that everything is running well, and he doesn't have to do it really by himself. Caleb Milne, I think, is one guy that you're going to have to really rely on in the forward pack. In the forward pack, they have a lot of young guys come through. I think they might feature a pretty new a pretty new forward pack. I mean, they've got Mahonrai Ngakuru, who's come in from Papamoa. They've got a guy, Lance McHugh, who's a real big. He kind of reminds me of. He's kind of like the same size as Jeffrey Falimi that was there. They still have Cameron Church, who's there, who's a really big talent and a really big player to have there, as well as Sila Tutuiti. But I mean, Caleb's going to need more than that. They still got Valence Yates, who's young, who's coming through. Amandine, who's young, who's coming through. They went and got another lock, Stefan Williams, which is good. And they still have JP Papani, and also they went out and got. I heard that they went out and got Rob Rush as well, which is going to add to that loose forward trio. But at the same time, it's just how are you going to play it? So that's what I'm looking at, because for me, I see Amandine, who's only year 11, as really a blindside, but will probably have to play somewhere in the locks. He might come off the bench because you still got Stefan Williams there as well, but I mean, you never know. Sila, Valence, and Rob will probably have to fight out between the three of them, who goes in at 6 and 7. I think Sila's pretty solid there, so I'm not too sure if he's the one, but I think Valence and Rob might have to have a look at their number 7 jersey. But Caleb is going to be the one that has to really control this forward pack, and then be in a lot of talking, be in a lot of those situations. He's going to have to be the talking guy and has to communicate a lot with Cameron to make sure that all the other boys fall into place. Sila's going to have to step up, and so is all the other new boys as well, along with it. Alatini Tuanafasi is probably another guy that I would look at as well, as a guy that might make an appearance this year as well, which would be really good, just to get them in there, because next year with all these guys coming back, it's going to be a pretty massive year for them next year. So this is going to be kind of like their learning experience, which is going to be good. I mean, I like it. I mean, look at other guys like Penny and also Kalani Parkinson and guys like that. So I think they're going to be pretty stacked, and I think they're going to be a really good team even this year. And it just, like I said, it just depends on the two Warriors boys, if they're going to actually play first 15 this year. I'm still not sure, but if so, the number 2. If not, I'm looking towards 12 and 15. So that's my review. St. Kentigern's College. Peace.